Hello and welcome back to SHARE, the International Architecture Forum here in Bucharest. We have very special guests today, and I had the great honor to have at this moment with me Odile Deck, who is our very special guest tonight, and together with Mr. Professor Augustin Ioan. And I have invited both of them to have a discussion about education in architecture, because both of them are very well-known professors and teachers and inspirational figures in their to say fields and countries.
And we are both famous in Romania.
Okay. Yes. And this is why I challenged them to have this discussion about education in architecture. I will start asking Odile Deck to tell us some more about her institute, the Confluence Institute, and why she felt that she should step back from the official structures and to create her own structure.
I did that in 2012. No, I decided that in 2012 when I resigned from my previous school in Paris. Mm-hmm. And I decided to launch a new school because I was thinking and I was discovering step by step that the students now are totally different than they were before. Mm-hmm. And especially the ones that are now we have at schools we are born from the 2000. And we need to reorganize and to rethink the way we educate them. And because I was traveling a lot at this time, I was talking a lot to many schools in the world, mm-hmm. and I discovered that many people wanted to try to change education in architecture, mm-hmm. but they couldn't succeed because they were trapped in big machines like university, big schools, etc. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it's easy to do that with a light structure. Mm-hmm. And so it took 2 years with a little group of other friends, architects, mm-hmm. to understand what we can do, until when we reached a point where, after looking at Finland, where they were not teaching anymore for high school history directly with courses, etc., because they wanted that the students now are looking at on internet, and they have to just to meet the teachers, to have a discussion with them, to have a critical aspect of that. I was thinking that, and other schools in States doing that, like that in the US. I said, okay, at one point we will be the Montessori School of Architecture.
Wow!
So that means a school dedicated to students
and relation to
the students, and the students have to learn by themselves, and they will learn by themselves, but not only by themselves. They will have
guided
people coming and visiting them, and for different topics, and working with them to help them to grow. And this is why I started the school. And this school is very particular because it's a vertical working of vertical studio from the first to the fourth, and they are all together. And the younger one are questioning the elder one, and the elder one are collaborating with the younger one. And this is really a collaborative way of working, and they like that. This is now because we are still a small school of 50 students, so they always say this is a big family. And
the school as a family, which
yes, they work together. And every semester we reorganize, we decide which thematic we will follow, and we ask coming people to come, because we have a studio which is running all the way to the semester. We have 3 workshops, intensive of 1 week each of them, and we have technical seminars of 1 week also. That means that the students have every week something to do, and something to fulfill, and something to propose. So they are doing projects very fast. They are really, at the beginning they are a bit lost when they start, but step by step they discover that they have to provide ideas very quickly, and they have to be confronted to the others and confronted to the people who come. And I do all the juries of all of that. This is why I know very well what is happening in my school.
It's incredible, and especially what I felt as a student after 6 years of studies is that after you are told 6 years how to think or what to do, you find very difficult to find your own way, one niche of interest. And if promoting, discovering yourself, it is a great gift that you can give to the students.
I always say that the students have to discover through these studies who they are and what they want to do with architecture. And I always tell them at the beginning, I don't care if you don't become an architect, because my duty is not to help you to become an architect. My duty is to help you to work with architecture and to help the work with architecture.
And work with you as a primary source of inspiration. How I will address Mr. Augustin. How do you think that in the Romanian architectural education area, what are the main challenges that we are facing today, and the main ways that teachers have identified to cope those challenges?
You don't have time for me to answer that question, trust me. Just not even for the problems, really. There's a more general problem, I think, that we share with other countries. It's not just happening in Romania. Probably it's more intensive in Romania, first of all. They have access to internet and stuff like you said, but they refuse the access. They're not looking for anything, really. My students don't read.
I discovered that too.
Okay.
This is the new generation is not reading.
It's not reading, but we have to find ways of passing on the information in a different form. For example, I'm not doing aesthetics. I'm doing visual culture to them, and I explain that via visual culture, for example, they are somehow safer than their colleagues from across the street from our school, which is the School of Humanities, which don't read. Trust me, my wife is teaching there, and she's a historian.
Everybody says that today they don't read.
Yeah, but there are schools who are slightly safer, like us, because they look, from that point of view, they are more cultivated than I was when I graduated in 1990. Okay, so they visit places, they go to, I don't know, Le Corbusier visited the fort, and that's compulsory in our school, by the way. So that is a major problem, but on the other side, it's there are alternatives to that. You can go around the issue of not reading, for example. And by the way, it's not reading on a tablet. They don't read on anything. Really.
They read abstracts.
Well,
and yes.
So I find it important, because I'm more on the theoretical side. I find it important that students understand the structure of information. There's plenty of information. They don't know which is valid, which is useful, whatever useful means in the education of a student. So I'm providing structure. Okay, I moved, like she said, they find information by themselves, but here they have to learn how to structure. I think I'm providing that. This is important. This is secondary, first-hand text, second-hand text interpretations, and kind of, at least around.
Give them tools to cope and navigate in this mass of
because
information and abundance of information.
Stuff, it's too much information.
Yes, this is what I guess, as I personally feel, as a pressure and abundance of information, that you don't have the tools to navigate this. It is very...
So we have to... in my school, when I do some meetings with the students, I ask who is reading, and I discover, yes, most of us have that. There are 2 or 3 we never read any book.
I gave up making bibliographies.
And sometimes I ask if they watch movies, and sometimes they say no. So I'm thinking what they are doing. So now I ask them to have at least 2 books on their table, because they are working at school.
Okay.
So I want to see that they have at least 2 books. And I have been able, traveling the school, to take that one and say, what is this book for? I ask them, I question them about that, to force them to read. And I discovered that by doing that, by semester by semester, some of them start to read, but it's very long too. Because for them, and a girl told me that after reading 2 books during an intern semester, that it was tiring for her brain. I said, why? He said, because it's long to read a book. I said, okay, it's normal. But you know, they don't have the brain for that. So but
Also, I'm writing shorter books. I forgot to mention that.
So this is why now we have to be able to provide them to be self-critical, to be able
Exactly.
to. So this is why in my school, for every project that they provide, they have to write a text, and writing by themselves, and we check if it's writing by themselves. Sometimes it's very badly written. They have to tell that in speaking, and this is very training them to have the possibility to have the words and the sentence and to be able to pronounce something, and so that means reading in a way.
Yeah.
Actually, it is idea of understanding what to request from even the tools that you are working with is very important. I recall that in 2004, may I not be wrong, École Nationale Polytechnique de Paris give that exam asking students with one question, explain, and two white papers, and they had 2 hours to explain something. So somehow they understood they should train students to learn how to request and explain what they need,
Yeah.
because we have these generative tools that are just waiting us to explain what we need. And
Yes, but we see when they use ChatGPT. This is very easy to look at. And
You
this is
see-
why now we ask them poem.
Yeah.
Because through poems they have to do something else. They have to think how to present and to be more themselves.
I hate to break it to you, but ChatGPT is also writing poems.
Are you sure?
I am. I've seen them written. Some of them are
maybe.
not that bad.
we had
Yes, but as we ask them to read that in public,
yes.
and after that to explain
Make
when we don't
clearer for
understand,
them.
so that means that they have to take it for them. Yes,
Understand.
exactly.
Yes, Jan Ricci, we had an interview with him, and he said before taking each project, he's writing a poem. And it is not because...
John Hyder was doing that too.
Yes, it does not, because making a sketch somehow link you with a mental image. And it is when you throw the paper back, that mental image stays in your head, and you cannot explore more a larger space of solutions. Therefore, words are powerful in this way that makes you freely and makes you in control of exploring a larger
Maybe
solution
for some,
space.
yeah.
There is an exercise, maybe you know it. It was done by Stanley Tigerman when he was a professor in the United States, and he was taking these pages from the Bible describing the temple, and half of the studio goes out and half stays. This is the text. Draw the temple. Okay, go. The other half comes back.
So that was sketch.
Describe
Describing words.
Right.
Yes.
What
Right,
you see.
okay.
It's
And then,
interesting.
of course, at the end there was a comparison, and the poetry was missing, obviously, but
But both text, and so the linguistic way and the descriptive way, and also the picturesque way of representing solutions, both are for an architect useful tools. So we are both representing solutions in descriptive and
Yes, because
picturesque
you have
way.
to present, you have to argue, you have to be able to explain.
you have to
So-
sell something for
to say,
Christ's sake.
yes, so this is explaining. So you have to use words. So we have to train them to do that. So through that they have to be able to write. And because of the AI and ChatGPT, they have and the Midjourney for the images, we have to train them to be self-critical, and to be self-critical. That means having a content in their brain to be able to say
Yes,
something
to
and
assess.
to assess and to write and to explain. So this is really, maybe this is an opportunity, the AI, to make them reading back. I was thinking of that. We have to try that.
So these tools have been accepted in your studios,
But
and
we don't have to say that we accept, they do it.
They do it
do-
anyway.
But this is 90% of the students now are using that without telling you. So you have to deal with that. And the teachers or the schools that believe that they are not, they are mistaken. No, this is true. So we have to deal with that. We have to think how to educate them, how to make them thinking differently, etc.
And also the fact
We
that
have to
there
think.
is a narrow group of students, 15 students, you said.
50.
50. Oh, 50. So this is not,
It's not-
yes, it's
We
much
were
more.
55 when I was. We were 55 each year.
55 each year.
No, but this is
In the
all,
whole country.
No, this is the whole school.
50 in all? Oh, okay. That's
It's
a
very
lot
small.
less. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yes.
Yes, and I guess now the younger generation also need people to get inspired, and probably many guests are coming to Confluence Institute and inspire your students, as I have seen from your
Because
schedule.
I agree with you, and I'm adding this because knowledge comes with authority. Everything that I
From
remember
authority?
from authority, from your professor. If
I'm
it's
not a
somebody-
professor. I'm just somebody
Yeah,
who
but
coach them.
they admire
I'm
you.
not, no, but I'm not a professor. I don't want that to be said as a professor. I'm not a professor. I'm not a teacher. I'm a coach for helping them to do what they
coach.
have to do.
And
Yeah, but
from
they will,
admiration to say so.
Admiration, let me put it
Admiration,
that way.
yes.
Any kind of authority. I mean, if it's somebody you like, you prefer, you know
It's a-
what
yeah, it's an
he or
indirect
she
form of
did
authority.
already, so you trust that
Yes,
particular
and you
person.
admire and
So from that point of view, I have this nostalgic idea that the medieval model was slightly better. than-
Because it was discussion. It was discussion.
because it was you watch the guy doing it many times. At one point, say, okay, fine, I understand. I don't want to do it like you. I'm going to do it differently. I know how from you. But I'm going to do it differently.
In a
Separate.
way, yes, it's
In a
interesting.
way, yeah. So I think.
But you know that now the students that are coming into the school, because I look at who is coming and who is applying, they are born in 2005. So they are not born even in 2000, they are born in 2005. That means that they don't care about what we were doing in the 20th and the 19th century. Yes, excuse me, this is their brain.
Okay.
And you have to know that if we continue to, as in many schools all over the world, to teach as we are teaching in the
Yeah.
19th century,
That I agree.
this is really this is really problematic.
That I
And this
agree.
is how the schools are working today. They are really thinking that education in architecture is like in the 19th century, before in the Beaux-Arts system. And we have to do something else, really, to change everything.
how does your colleagues, architects who are teachers in schools, relate to your structure?
I don't know. The one that I invite comes and
Okay.
discovers that I remember one teacher, one engineer, a structural engineer. I asked him to come for 1 week, and he said, you forced me to change my way of teaching because
It's a big compliment.
what can I do for 1 week? So because usually I give a course for
In
an
half
hour,
a
2
year.
hours, and he said, and repeat that every week, etc. So he doesn't care about what he says. Now he has to maintain the attention to the student for 1 week. So this is very different. You have
As compressing a
you have to
presentation
change your
in
way
5
of
minutes.
teaching because of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes,
And
as
this-
compressing a presentation in 5 minutes makes you give a harder
Yeah,
effort
and the students
to-
who were there and came
Simple
from other schools when they arrived at the second or third year said, we learned a lot doing that week, much more than having courses every week. I said, yes, because this is intensive. And at the end, you build something and you design something to build.
So
So this is really...
Yes, so delivering compressed information is a way to
Intensive.
cope, intensive,
Intensive,
yes,
yes.
a way to cope with
Yeah.
this abundance.
But that should, my humble opinion, should be associated with weekly, because weekly means you instill a rhythm and you
Repetition.
sort of
You are talking
repetition.
about
I'm talking about
repetition, maybe?
repetition.
We are
And
not
then you
doing
have an
that.
intensive,
No, because...
injection.
No, we don't do that.
Okay, good.
We don't do that.
Yeah,
Good.
maybe.
But I agree that the university system, as
Is-
far as architecture is concerned, but generally speaking, I think the
Is
university
there any hope
better.
that?
Well, there is always hope, but
It's complicated because this is
Complicated.
machines and we have the administration which is
Machines,
heavy. This is the system are heavy. Yes, this is why I left the school and I decided to do that by myself.
that can only be done in very flexible, private,
Yeah.
Yes,
you know,
this.
informal kind of.
This is why we have to ask the teacher to get out of the universities. Not easy.
Yeah, and there are examples even in Eastern Europe. You know, Imre Makovec in Hungary was doing this program. It was a master's program, and you had to work in different construction sites with the architect who designed such and such. It was like Middle Ages, really. Yeah, arhitectul Pellegrin, Calfe călătoare. That is a medieval system with the people moving from construction. So we even still, as we speak, we have an infrastructure, and it's working.
Maybe the London School of Architecture is something similar to that.
Exactly.
Because they have been launched at the same time as mine, and we were announcing that together in London once. And they are working with professionals.
Yes.
But I don't want to educate my students as professionals.
Can I ask a question? Do you know what happened with Rem Koolhaas's program in Moscow? He was doing
this one. Yes, I know. I went there for giving a talk once, and I know.
Yeah, I admired their program.
Yes,
Okay,
but
beyond admiration, what's happening?
It's a master program. It's without a diploma. This is something that you come, and I met people who are funding that, etc. I don't know what is the name is. I don't remember the name of this.
Something, I don't know.
Yes, I know the lady who is in charge of that. Yes. But I don't know what happens now because internationally it's complicated to go to Moscow today.
Yes.
Dorin Stefan was trying to do that when his wife was here minutes ago. And he's a very good architect, Romanian architect. He was at one point, he said, I'm leaving the school, I'm going to make my own program. And it's but I don't think it's instead of, I think they work together, if you ask me.
You have to, because, but if you want to have a diploma, you have to at the end to do something, and this is why we have been searched by the RIBA at the beginning.
Right.
They came to us and said, we want to accredit you, so now we have accredited at the RIBA.
So do we.
And next week we have the renewal of this accreditation, and then we have been asking the French system the French administration also to give us a diploma, and they started to say, what can we do? Because it's a school that is teaching in English. This is a school which is accredited by the RIBA, and the students are foreigners. So we have a few French.
And they receive like a master accreditation, or which is the...
No, we want to have the license and the diploma, normal diploma. No, this is a kind of a challenge to do that.
And the school in Madrid, Mario Bota's school is still kicking you.
But this is masters. This is
also master's program.
Yes, this is
master's program. I think
because
it's kind of
easier.
It's easier
yes, because
to do
somebody from Texas last week that was teaching at the school for a workshop told me, why not you do some workshops, some master program? I said, yes, it's easier and we make money with that, but this is not my task. My task is to provide a new education in architecture.
Right. And then you send them to Mario Bota.
No, never. No, to Mendrisio not. No, we will, but maybe we will do some master program also next year or in 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
We are thinking of that.
The main topics and the main focus at this moment in your
this year, this semester, it was the accreditation, so we asked the students to revise everything from the beginning because it's 10 years now that we are working. So they are all revising everything, looking at everything that we've done from the beginning to now, to do a big exhibition for next week. And,
interesting. We are inviting you to showcase your school exhibition.
But you come to visit.
We did it last year. We had
the exhibition will be done next week, so come to visit us.
Yes, so invitation to everyone that's watching us.
To go there. And so this is the thematic of the semester, which is very particular. But also we have a very particular studio this semester, which is we call that a critical lab. And we ask an architect who is Didier Faustino, French and artist and French and Portuguese, to do a kind of work to help for the group of students to be able to publish a book, a journal for the school. So they do the interviews, they do everything for the content and the fabrication and the publication and the advertisement and the selling. So they have to do all the process to understand what it is. So this is what they are doing now.
Very interesting. Mr. Agustin would be very...
Yeah, I'm into writing myself.
No, this is because as soon as we start this semester, we hope that we will do that every year, maybe, to help them to do that.
And as topics, is there any specific topic that you are focusing right now in terms of a theme or something that
we were discussing that this week with the guy who is working with me. And I was starting to say maybe we have to work for next semester on something with biology
and
with something
materialism.
Yes, I don't know, because we never took that. We never experimented that. Maybe we have to find something with biology. The relation between biology
you should
and
invite Matias Del Campo. He's doing on something on digital. Biodigital.
technologies.
Biodigital,
Yeah.
yeah. Biodigital.
But once we did the Moon Village, once we did work, be living on the sea, we did because this is a thematic that. So we did also extreme climate, whatever the climate is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody, so the studios, the workshops, the seminars are dealing with that thematic.
And do you have places like laboratories where they can try or?
We have machines. Yes, we have all the machines. Because at the beginning I bought the machine.
So it is for.
And as soon as they ask a machine, I buy them. I buy for them.
So
Even if it's a sewing machine, a knitting machine. Yeah.
How much is the taxes?
It's 11,600
A year.
per year. It's not so big.
reasonable,
No,
yes.
it's not really. By American standards, it's quite small.
It's very
actually.
small, yeah.
It's very small.
Yeah. But at the beginning, I had to put money in the school
Yeah.
myself. Now, not. But it's just at the equilibrium. But we have to go further.
Yes. So for those those who are watching us, it would be an invitation to check the Confluence Institute website and maybe become interested by your program. At the end of this conversation, I would like you, as an educator, as a coach, as an architect, to share a thought with young architects who are watching us and to architects practitioners. In terms of
We are the wise people now.
Yeah.
that we have
Share from our.
piece of advice.
I think that if I always say that the best advice that I give them, this is to be curious. To be curious about not only architecture, but to be curious about the world, what is happening, and understanding what is interesting them, and which field is interesting them, and they can become who they want. And to be curious, to be self-critical more and more.
Especially in these times,
And
when
especially in
it's
this time,
abundance of
yes.
information.
And what will be the third one? Maybe you know?
No, I was gonna say critical, not just self-critical. Critical
Yes,
in general.
critical in
Just be
general, yeah.
aware of whatever
Yes,
it's.
yeah. Because this is the problem, you know. I remember a philosopher from France who said at the beginning, wrote a little book. It's Petite Poussette. So okay, and he wrote that because he said at the beginning when I was teaching in the university, I was in front of faces, and I saw where they were erected, smiling, not sleeping sometimes, etc., etc. And then suddenly they came with their computers, so I was facing back of screens. No, and what they were doing there, they were checking what I was saying, and they were maybe doing something else. And then they stopped to come with their computer, they came with their telephone, so they were like that. So he said the back of the top of their head. And he said, why I'm giving courses, why I'm teaching them? I have to learn how to do that with that, dealing with their telephone. This is complicated.
Yeah, well, I'm asking them to use their telephone since they have them anyway. You know, I gave up showing images. I'm asking them right now as we speak, please check
On your
that
telephone, yeah.
on your telephone to see the image of what I'm saying.
Yes, this is
Don't
what
trust
they do.
me. Don't trust
This is
me.
what they do. When we
Good.
talk to them,
I would
they
love them to do
immediately
that.
check on the telephone.
I would love them to do that and verify me.
Yeah.
Maybe see more than I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
other opinions and stuff. Don't trust.
Okay.
Verify.
Yeah.
You know. And
No,
I
it's
got
true.
rid of the slide projector, which is very good.
No, this is exactly what. Yes.
Yes, and maybe we can share a thought.
No.
Never
thought
in
of
terms how do you address these challenges in educational systems and
Well, like I said, I'm trying to sort of, I think, well, there are some of my former students here, they can testify if I'm right, but I'm trying to empower them.
okay, so that's
Go,
empowering.
start from here, this is my first, and from here you move on.
Yeah.
I'm taking you only so far.
And there is also something that I want to say. In schools today, there are more than 60% of women, girls, in the school as students. And they disappeared later on.
We had a PhD.
Yes.
I had a PhD student who did that. And she said, because women are less prepared. I said, shut up, go and do the research. And she found out that 50+% of women graduate
Yeah.
and enroll in the order of architects, only 25%
Yeah.
of the 50
Yes.
something percent.
Is it the
very
same
few.
situation in
This is
France?
very
this is
few. What's
everywhere
happening?
in the world.
Exactly.
And only 30% are registered in the world, and only, for over the architects, and only 10% are the head of the office. That means nobody.
Yeah.
And this is a problem because in schools we have to have role models, and we have to have women architects practicing as a role model for the students. And this is not. If you look at the teacher in the schools,
We have a lady professor who's running for rectorship next year.
yes,
so.
but this is for courses, history, theory.
No,
something
she's
else.
running for being a
For-
rector.
okay, rector. Yes, well, this is the position now for women. Okay, in the States they are all there, but this is not enough.
Yes, that's true.
And we have to give self-confidence to the women in school for them to believe that they can do it.
And you are
Absolutely.
the greatest example for that.
Yes, what I'm doing is that.
Inspiring women
This is
in
why,
architecture to
You're doing
follow
what you're
their way.
preaching, as they say.
I try.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for being here with us. And thank you to
Thank
Mr.
you very much.
Agustin
Thank
for
you.
being our
I'm
interlocutor.
honored.
Yes.
Hope to see your exhibition and maybe bring it here to share.
Complicated.
And-
It
no?
will be complicated to bring it, but because we don't think the exhibition has to be traveling.
Okay.
Did they ever invite you to diploma juries in our school? Never?
No.
Would you like to come?
Be the first to
I'm just.
end this with an invitation. So you are welcome to Bucharest University at the next jury session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.